Wisconsin Badgers now days away from their 13th football game of the season. They are bowling once again, this time in New York City, the Bronx, specifically Yankee Stadium, as the Badgers take on the Miami Hurricanes. We'll take a look at some of the highlights of the season so far for the Badgers. We'll check in with Doak Walker Award winner Jonathan Taylor, and we'll get into the Hurricanes a little bit with our weekly sit-down with head coach Paul Chryst. All coming up on today's edition of the Badgers Sports Report.
Hornibrook remains in the shotgun, takes the snap, four-man rush. Alex fires over the middle, caught, touchdown, Wisconsin. Jake Ferguson, middle of the end zone. Aaron Cruikshank motions to the right. Here's the handoff, Jonathan Taylor across the 15, across the 20, 25, still up 30. There he goes. Taylor the 40, Taylor the 50, separates from the field. There he goes, 10-5, touchdown, Wisconsin. Snap to A.J. Bush, looking, throws over the middle. That's intercepted, T.J. Edwards at the 50, 45 to the 40, 35 to the 30-yard line of Illinois, and bumped out of bounds. Another interception for T.J. Edwards, the 9th of his career. Cruikshank motions to the right, jet sweep right. Here's Cruikshank at the 20, 15, to the 10, to the 5, breaks a tackle, touchdown Wisconsin. Hornibrook will give it the deal, straight ahead, and Taiwan breaks through to the 30, he's gone, 20, 10, 5, touchdown Wisconsin. Here's to Taylor, 35-30, breaks loose, he's gone, at the 20, 10, 5, touchdown Wisconsin. Cone looking to throw, left side, end zone. It is caught by Danny Davis. Touchdown, Wisconsin. Oh my goodness. Takes the snap, hands to Taylor, running right to the 15. Taylor to 10, Taylor to 5. Touchdown, Wisconsin, and the Badgers win it. Picked off by T.J. Edwards, and he's all alone. End zone, it is caught for the touchdown. To the 20, to the 10, 5, touchdown Wisconsin. Pressure, and he is sacked just outside the goal line. A big, big win for the Wisconsin Badgers.
The Badger Sports Report with Paul Chryst is presented by Mercedes-Benz. Drive yours at Zimbrick European. And UW Health Sports Medicine, the healthcare team for the Badgers. Learn more at uwsportsmedicine.org.
Hurry into Nissan's year-end event for big year-end savings on our latest tech in our award-winning lineup featuring Rogue Sport, Rogue, and the all-new Altima. Nissan's first ever sedan with available intelligent all-wheel drive. Tech you can't get in a quarter Camry.
Get up to $2,500 bonus cash on select models, or get 0% financing for 60 months on 13 models.
But you gotta get in now before it ends.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
This is Gemütlichkeit, the spirit of Wisconsin. Hetty feels it. Kim embraces it. Even brother and sister get along. Friendship, warmth, and good cheer. That's Gemütlichkeit, and that's Wisconsin.
My salesperson is Joe Santowski, and from the moment I first walked through the doors here and he extended his hand to greet me, it's been the best relationship since then. He knows this brand and cars in general so well that I trusted him from the moment I met him. He was obviously so interested in exactly what I was looking for, what I wanted, but let me explore on my own.
There is a boy who likes tractors and trains, a boy whose heart was far too strained. He was sick, you see, with a heart that broke. His heart needed fixing, his family needed hope. Enter our doctors with their newfangled tests. Enter our teams whose care is the best. Healthy and happy, the little boy's back, playing with tractors and trains on his track. UW Health and the American Family Children's Hospital. Remarkable.
What was it like to put on the cap gown and to walk?
Man, it was a surreal feeling, you know, almost like running out the tunnel for Camp Randall for the first game. So definitely was fun and exciting.
What about the accomplishment? How does it feel to have a degree?
Oh, it feels great, man. I did it 3.5. I plan on coming back next year and finishing with my master's. So it's definitely a great feeling, to kind of one step up the ladder.
17th consecutive year, the Wisconsin Badgers are going bowling, extending what is the longest streak by far in the Big Ten Conference as we welcome in head coach Paul Chryst. And that's never to be taken for granted. And I know every coach who has a team in a bowl game talks about the practices, the extra practices. That too is something that I know you guys don't take for granted, right?
No, it's been great. You for a number of reasons, you appreciate the opportunity to be able to play at least one more game, and it's being able to extend the season. And you like the team you're with, and to be able to be with them and playing football, that's always good. And then there's an experience to a bowl game that I think is tremendous for the players. And if you kind of take that, they've earned the right. You want the bowl to be a new experience. We're going out there, and I don't know the exact number. There's probably 80 to 95 kids that have never been to New York City. I know there's, people in the travel party that maybe their kids or whoever it is haven't been to New York City. And so I think that's a great experience. And then opportunity to play one more game and against a really good opponent. And then you talked about the practice. Those have been tremendous. And they always, seems like they always are. And for our younger players particularly, because that first part of the bowl practice, you're able to do a lot of young guy stuff. And you've got older players that have just played a lot of snaps in a season. And so you kind of want to keep them just in the flow a bit. But the younger guys, you can get a lot of practice. It ends up probably being a little bit more than half of a spring ball. And so it's been really good, and I've been appreciated how the younger players have kind of approached it. And certainly then you get to that point where, it's probably about a week out from when you leave that you start your preparation for the bowl game with Miami. And so it's there's a lot of reasons to be thankful for a bowl game.
Any number of individuals can benefit, and I think of a guy like a Caden Lyles who, gets on the field, but he's helping the team,
Right.
playing the defensive line this season, but he can get some work back at closer to home, so to speak, for him on the offensive side.
It's exactly it, and he did, and you do appreciate a ton what Caden did. When we made the switch in the summertime, the whole plan was this year. We thought we had obviously more depth in the offensive line than we did defensive line, and he was the one guy that we felt like could go over and contribute, and contribute he did. And yet, the first bowl practice back, it was kind of like the chance to get that bonus spring practice. The bowl practice was tremendous for him, and kind of just getting back into the rhythm of it. And it was fun talking to him and kind of seeing, what he learned from being on the other side and then coming back. I think that that was one that really did, I know it gave me some juice. Like, okay, he has gotten better as a football player, and it was fun to see him continue to progress.
I know that the news late in the week that is out now regarding the quarterback, the starting quarterback position. Jack Cohn
Right.
will be that guy for the Pinstripe Bowl. So this is game 5, which means that he's now wrapping up his sophomore year. But as long as everybody's all in, same page, and it sounds like that's the case here, right?
No doubt, and here's, from the get-go, what we talked to Jack about was, one, come in and compete for the starting position. And, we felt like coming out of fall camp that Alex had earned the right to be the starter. And then we talked to Jack about, and Danny Vandenboom, all right, that here's how we feel like we can approach this, should approach this, and that Jack, you're the number 2 quarterback. And when you play, the game will be in the balance. And that's where, to this point, every time that he's taken a snap, the game was in the balance. And Danny had a couple opportunities to go in and play, and that was when it was kind of the game was decided. And so certainly when you go into this and to be able to start 4 games and play whole second half of another game. And the one thing that's interesting to me, and this was kind of an approach really learned from kind of my experiences recently with Jack Sitchie, is that none of us know what's coming. And so when you can play. You should never play before you're ready. When you can play, that's what it's all about. And especially, you know, in the games when it's close and when you got a chance to start, you don't know how many games you can start. And certainly I thought, boy, Sitch, here we go, and he's got 2 more years left and ends up playing, you know, instead of 2 full seasons, ends up playing probably 6 games. And so I think when you can play and certainly start, those are really good things.
All right, the Badgers taking on the Miami Hurricanes at Yankee Stadium on Thursday afternoon. 4:15 Central is the kickoff. Well, several Badgers earning some individual accolades, and some is getting as high of an honor as you can get. We'll talk to the coach about that, and we'll get into the Hurricanes a little bit as we continue with the Badgers Sports Report.
Ever since she can remember, she's wanted to become a doctor, a surgeon to be exact. Maybe it's because she's good at science, or because she loves math, or maybe it's because Lydia was born with a serious craniofacial anomaly, a cleft lip and palate that required a series of complex surgeries. And now she just wants to help others, just like the surgeons at UW Health helped her. UW Health and the American Family Children's Hospital. Remarkable.
Last year I was kind of in awe, you know, looking at all the guys around the country and saying like, hey, I mean, I love watching on TV. And this year I feel like I was able to really appreciate and understand everything that was going on around me. You know, I was really thankful throughout the whole process of being there. You know, it was just something that really this year I actually got to sink into my mind and understand like, wow, like, this is really amazing. Like all of these guys are really amazing. So I'm really honored to have won the award, and now it's all about building upon that and continuing going on in this game in Miami.
Once again, the Badgers well represented in terms of all Big Ten recognition and All-American recognition. It starts with the Doak Walker Award winner, Jonathan Taylor, and a couple of guys who blocked for him a lot these past couple of years, especially for JT, Michael Dieter and Bo Benshaw. I know it's about the team, but it's pretty cool, I would think, Paul, for you guys as a staff to see some of these guys get recognized for being what you've known they're good. And that's good to know that everybody else understands that too.
Yeah, it is, and you know, I think that those are, you talking about being an All-American, that's significant, and yet there is that team aspect. I mean, it's I still don't think it happens if JT doesn't have Bo and Michael and all the offensive line and tight ends. Don't know, right? And he's deserved, you know, being named the best back, in my opinion. And I think the same thing could be said, you know, that JT helped those guys up front in getting the recognition. So there is, I still believe there is that team aspect, but individually what they've done, it is, I think it's worth celebrating, and it's special. And I think those are truly have been earned. And when you feel like it's truly earned, and I don't know all the other offensive linemen in the country, and certainly not all the backs, but I do feel that it's accurate, and they truly have deserved it.
The stories are pretty cool. We say this every year, but when you think of Michael Dieter, he's played all along the line. Bo Benshaw's debut was at tackle
at Nebraska.
Right. He talked about how loud that was. So to see those guys grow from the start point was pretty good, but they were really thrown right into it, weren't they?
No doubt about it, and that's what it is. What's fun, and to kind of see any of these players, but you go through and you track their career and what they've done, and then you go look at JT's and probably very different, you know, kind of how he burst on the scene, where the other guys have played so much and been a part of so many big wins and performances, and yet individually have continued to grow. And that's what you appreciate about really all three of them, is that, you know, they have just continued to work and grow and get better, and that's always fun to see when you're coaching.
All right, many other Badgers recognized as well, all Big Ten, and for their work off the field. You can spend an entire program on that, but you prepare now for Miami. Obviously, you saw them last year in the Orange Bowl. Some new faces, but a lot of familiar ones. That probably helps them too, but you guys know each other pretty well. It's not a start from scratch kind of a prep the way it might be in most other bowl games.
Right, and yet I think that it's, you know, you're talking about two different teams this year than what both teams were last year, and yet absolutely there's a lot of familiar faces when you go back and you start preparing for it, and you're introducing to the players, and the players knowing, okay, he's back, you know, I think there's some familiarity is right, but it's not like we're playing the same team. We're not the same team. They're not the same team. So that part, there's a freshness to it. And we certainly know, you know, the talent that they have. And I still think, and you watch it again this year, a ton of respect for, you know, Mark Richt and their staff. And so you know that we've got to play at our best to give ourselves a chance. And yet I think our kids are excited about the opportunity to play them again.
Yeah, you mentioned two different teams from last year, both sides. But the one thing that seems familiar is how good the defense is for Miami, right? It seems like strong at every level, statistically among the best in the country. As you prepare for them, you see them on video. What pops out to you about it?
I think what you said is right, that all three levels, if we're talking about the front, the defensive line, and the linebackers, and then the secondary, and certainly they do a good job of dropping their safeties down kind of that linebacker level. But when you watch them, you don't say, okay, there is the weak link. And when you watch him, you see a couple like he's good. I mean, he's really good right there. And then I think, you know, like we're talking about, a lot of the faces are back, and so they're that much more experienced with playing with each other, playing in the scheme. And I think they do a great job of adjusting. So if you hit them on one thing, it's hard to get them back on the same thing. Where some teams, you play them and you can probably, if it works once, it's going to keep working, and they don't adjust. And I think they do a great job of kind of adjusting in the course of a game and really from play to play. And so I think they're talented. They understand what they're trying to do. And because of that, too, they do a lot of different things. They're going to give you a lot of different looks. And so that combination makes them a heck of a defense.
All right, and offensively, they've changed a little bit. They try to go up tempo. They've kind of tag team the quarterback position with Malik Rozier, who was their primary starter last year. He has started half the games. N'Kosi Perry, a redshirt freshman, has started the other 6 games of the season, but they look like they like to spread you out a little bit. They'll run it, but they'll try to spray it around a little bit through the air as well. Coach returns in a few minutes with a great day and great question of the week as we continue with the Badger Sports Report.
My salesperson is Joe Santowski, and from the moment I first walked through the doors here and he extended his hand to greet me, it's been the best relationship since then. He knows this brand and cars in general so well that I trusted him from the moment I met him. He was obviously so interested in exactly what I was looking for, what I wanted, but let me explore on my own.
At Mahindra, we know you want more out of life. So Mahindra gives you more lift capacity, more built-in weight, more peace of mind, and more year-end holiday savings, like 0 down, 0 interest for up to 72 months. Or more Mahindra savings up to $8,600. That's how Mahindra became the world's #1 selling tractor.
Nissan's year-end event for big year-end savings on our latest tech in our award-winning lineup featuring Rogue Sport, Rogue, and the all-new Altima. Nissan's first ever sedan with available intelligent all-wheel drive. Tech you can't get in a quarter Camry.
Get up to $2,500 bonus cash on select models, or get 0% financing for 60 months on 13 models.
But you gotta get in now before it ends.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
It should be a fun experience. My aunt lives in New York. It's close to home, so afterward, I won't even really have to fly back home. It'll be a nice, fun car ride home after the game. It should be fun playing in legendary Yankee Stadium. I've never been there before, so that should be a really fun experience. I heard a lot about it from a lot of different people who've been there.
Anytime we play a game, it's an opportunity to show up and show off. But this game, you know, being the last game of the season, yeah, it's definitely a good opportunity to go off on a high note, to have some fun, to you know, make big plays. That's what that's what we want to do. That's what we're here for. So that's what we're going to try to.
I'm pretty sure that, you know, legendary Yankee Stadium, they'll have it. It's perfect for us. We'll be able to have a great game there. It's really going to be about the sights and in the actual being in the moment of the game. You know, especially before the game, it's going to be looking at the sights, checking out Yankee Stadium, and then when it's game time, it's going to be time to play in Yankee Stadium. We won't be playing baseball, but we'll be playing in Yankee Stadium.
It's going to be a fun game, really a fun experience. A lot of guys here, including myself, haven't been to New York, and going to New York City for the first time for Christmas and all that, it'll be a lovely experience.
What do you say to guys who've never been to New York before?
I told guys, really, when you're walking around, you got to go, you got to move. It's going to be a fast-paced city. No matter what time of the day or night you go out, it's going to be a bunch of people out. So don't expect like the city to be sleep or anything. They call it the city that never sleeps for a reason. But it's a lot of fun. There's stuff to do every single corner, everywhere you look is something to do. So I'm telling them to be prepared for a lot of fun.
We obviously, since we played them, we know who they are. They're not losing a lot of guys. We're not losing a lot of guys. So it's really going to be, you know, studying personnel, and there's not a lot of, we don't know their identity. They have a sense of our identity. We have a sense of theirs.
We know what they're going to do. They know what we're going to do. So it's a little easier to jump on top of the game plan. So it's definitely be a fun game.
It's kind of a more mental game this time as far as physical and mental last time. This time's going to be way more mental. They're going to be prepared for a lot of stuff we have, so we're going to have to make sure that we're winning one-on-one matchups and make sure we're executing.
Definitely want to always end the season with a win. You know, it's a great feeling to send the seniors with their last game together out with the win, you know, and to come into the offseason with a win is a good feeling as well.
Nissan's year-end event for big year-end savings on our latest tech in our award-winning lineup featuring Rogue Sport, Rogue, and the all-new Altima. Nissan's first-ever sedan with available intelligent all-wheel drive. Tech you can't get in a quarter Camry.
Get up to $2,500 bonus cash on select models, or get 0% financing for 60 months on 13 models.
But you gotta get in now before it ends.
Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics.
They are the ones who found a way to isolate a single prostate cancer cell hidden amongst a billion healthy blood cells. The ones pioneering advanced genomic testing in order to create personalized treatment protocols. They are the ones you want to talk to when the diagnosis is prostate cancer. They are the physicians and healthcare professionals at UW Health and the Carbone Cancer Center. UW Health. Remarkable.
The Learfield Directors Cup, the highly recognized mark of distinction in college athletics across all divisions, both men's and women's sports. Follow your favorite team's pursuit for excellence in this prestigious annual award through thedirectorscup.com, USA Today, or at L Directors Cup on Twitter or Facebook. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics since 1993.
The Badger Sports Report with Paul Chryst is presented by Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. Hy-Vee proudly supports the Wisconsin Badgers. And UW Health Sports Medicine, the healthcare team for the Badgers. Learn more at uwsportsmedicine.org.
Time of this week's Great Day and Great Question of the Week. We go up to Bayfield. Bob checking in wants to know, Coach, what will you most remember about the senior class?
Boy, Bob, you're gonna remember a lot, and I think for me, it's each one of them certainly had their own journey. And if you want to talk about Ryan Conley's story, or Bo Benchwall, or Alec Ingold, you're right. Each one has it, but I think just when you're gonna say, what do you remember about this class? I think that one, was able to be here when they were young. Some were already here, some joined us at the time, Alec and Lepay. And yet I think just what they were able to be a part of. And then you say that, and then you think about Andrew Van Ginkel, who joined us kind of midstream, but how when he left, you felt like he'd been here 4 or 5 years. So I think, obviously by the vagueness of the answer of the question, it's hard to narrow it down and say what's the one thing you're going to remember, because fortunately, there's a lot of great things to remember the group by and each individual.
Yeah, but bottom line is a lot of wins, obviously, but a lot of really good stories.
Yeah.
As long as you can say that every year, that's a pretty good thing.
Pretty good thing. And then like you said, Dakota Dixon, if we could do a show about the awards, you could probably do a documentary series about Dakota. Each one's so, Michael McCoy, it's great stories by all of them. So you appreciate the time that you do get with them.
Bob, thank you for your question. A great game with locations throughout Madison as well as up in Wausau as well. Next week we get back to basketball as Greg Gard's Badgers wrapping up the non-conference portion of the schedule and ready to jump right back in to Big Ten play. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for watching.
At Mahindra, we know you want more out of life. So Mahindra gives you more lift capacity, more built-in weight, more peace of mind, and more year-end holiday savings, like 0 down, 0 interest for up to 72 months, or more Mahindra savings up to $8,600. That's how Mahindra became the world's #1 selling tractor.
My salesperson is Joe Santowski, and from the moment I first walked through the doors here and he extended his hand to greet me, it's been the best relationship since then. He knows this brand and cars in general so well that I trusted him from the moment I met him. He was obviously so interested in exactly what I was looking for, what I wanted, but let me explore on my own.
Progress is an endless challenge. Here at the University of Wisconsin, we're a community of innovators in constant motion. We think on our feet, connect with each other, and hit our stride, pushing past limits. Progress is an endless challenge, but it is only those up to the challenge who change the game.